Yeah, Christine already said it. So it's quite hot outside. That's why we will do a bit slowlier today and also make some breaks. But for those who don't know, Karlsruhe has also some official information, like a heat map, for example, where you can have a look at. So where you can grab water, for example, where you can go to cooler places like churches and so on. So use these resources if you need to. And our agenda for today, of course, first, welcome. We will cover some types of jobs and internships in Germany. We will talk about salary, legal aspects, language skills, application standards in Germany, job search strategies and resources, network and hidden job markets. So you see, it's basically not only about how to write a CV, because write a CV is just a little part, a little thing in the whole application process. And nowadays, due to AI, due to economic crisis in some fields, it's sometimes harder, or you need to be more flexible with jobs. It's harder than years ago for computer science students as well to find a job. So that's why I won't not only cover how to apply, how to write a CV, because that's really just a part, but also go further and deeper into some other topics. Yeah, as I said, my name is Julia. I'm a career coach working here already since 2017 in different jobs, but still all the time in the career service. I'm a project manager of this project, which is especially designed for helping international degree-seeking students at KIT for staying at KIT, have a good study, have a good support, and also work afterwards or even during the studies in Germany. So I worked myself in Switzerland and Ireland, and I was basically born in Russia, which is a lot of time ago, and I moved when I was 9 to Germany. So that's why I know how it feels when you move to a foreign country and to get a new start completely. So do you want to stay and work in Germany after your studies? Just raise a hand who wants. Okay, almost everyone. Yeah, okay. So you not, right? Okay. So a good idea. And now I will cover different types of jobs and internships to see what possibilities you have during your studies and also afterwards. So there's a lot of text. I don't want to go that into detail here, but I want you to point out some possible jobs you can have during your studies. So let's start with Student Assistant Academia. The German names are Wissenschaftliche Hilfskraft, Hiwi, Studentische Hilfskraft, Tutor. You need to know the German names because when you scroll through the job portals, you will come around with these names and you need to see what is it exactly? So what are you doing there? You are supporting teaching, research, or administrative tasks. So you can work up to 20 hours a week, also 40 hours during the semester break. And usually as an international student, you are usually allowed, if you are not from Europe, but from a third country, to work 140 full days or 280 half days. And that's the maximum you're allowed to work in Germany. But if you work in academia, this job doesn't count towards your limit. So be in mind about this. But still, the KIT, if you get a contract with the KIT, there's something said, you're allowed to work maximum 85 hours per month. So be in mind about these regulations. And basically, quite the same, but in industry. There are also student assistant jobs. They're calling Werkstudent, Studentische Hilfskraft. It's usually related to your field of study, so computer science mostly, and you do supportive tasks. So the same maximum up to 20 hours a week, maybe also 40 hours during the semester break. However, that's basically the maximum. So you can negotiate usually with the employers and tell them, okay, so I know my plans for the winter term are like this, and I'm able to work between 8 and 10 hours a week. So that's something you can negotiate. It's really just the maximum. So I think 20 hours a week is already a lot for you during your studies. So don't think, okay, I need to work 20 hours necessarily, otherwise I won't get the job. That's something you can negotiate on. Another thing is you can do a voluntary internship in academia, at KIT, for example, or also in industry. It's called Freiwilliges Praktikum or Praktikant, again, related to a field of study, but the thing is, you may work on specific projects, for example. Usually it takes 3 months, but mostly 4 to 6 months, and it isn't full time. So, and the other thing, that's a mandatory internship. It's in gray. No, I don't see that gray here, but there is said not applicable in computer science. So you don't need to do a mandatory internship here for computer science. But just if you come around with those job offers, just important for you to know the difference. So what you need to know is all these types of jobs are having in common that you need to be an enrolled student. So usually it's also written in the job ad. So you're a student or whatever, enrolled student, so something like this. And if you have any questions, just raise your hand directly. I forgot to tell you about this. You can also write a bachelor or master thesis in companies. So it's called Bachelorarbeit, Masterarbeit, Masterand, Abschlussarbeit. You can do it also in industry. But sometimes it's a must that you do an internship in this company. And it's basically also full-time, but be really carefully with this, especially in computer science. To find a supervisor before you ever signing a contract, because it might be quite tricky to find a supervisor when you're coming around saying, oh, here, I've got a contract with Bosch, so, and I need to supervise. And the supervisor says, no, I have also a lot of other topics I want to work at. Here, my topics, I don't want you to support in your master thesis at Bosch. So please be in mind that it's a bit tricky here. And you need to find a supervisor before ever signing a contract. You wouldn't be able to add something.
Just to add to that, if you're doing your thesis in the Department of Informatics, if you go to our FAQs, you'll find information on internal and external thesis work. And there you'll find a lot more information that you can inform yourselves on. But it's really important, as my colleague said, that you need to know this information and find someone here on KIT, because even if you're doing an external thesis, you must have someone from here at KIT that will oversee your work and will be the examiner for that. So I just wanted to quickly mention that.
Thank you. Another type of job you could do in Germany is a temporary worker, a word to pronounce. It's called Aushilfe or Minijob in German. So, but those jobs are, you get tasked with the low qualification needed, like pizza driver, cleaner, and so on. There's not a time frame, but still be in mind that you're allowed to work 140 full days and 280 half days in Germany. But you can work with this company until you reach a 603 euro gross per month. So one addition to those mini jobs. Well, you can probably work there in English as well. So because if you're a pizza driver, the only thing you need to say is something to the customer, and you can do it quite quickly, I presume. But it might be a stepping stone to the German job market. And I also know that a lot of students, they need to cover their costs by themselves completely. They need to earn the money. So it's a good opportunity. However, go for the best job and then still apply for other more qualified jobs, because you will get more money and you will get more experience in your field of study. So don't stick with the pizza driver jobs for 3 years or something like that. So really, that's my recommendation for you after your studies. So there's an entry job. There's not a specific name on this. Sometimes it's called Berufseinstieg or junior, whatever. So again, related to your field of studies. Usually it's full-time, sometimes part-time, but most of the jobs are full-time. Another thing is a trainee, which is also a job entry. It's a program for 6 to 24 months. like management trainee, also some expert trainees after graduation. So it's similar to the job entry. It's also similar pay to the job entry. But you will go through different departments, and it's like a program, and yeah, a lot of students want to do this. Just a special case. So at KIT, we have also wissenschaftliche Hilfskraft. You can do this after your first graduation, so after your bachelor's. So you need to be enrolled or a graduate student. However, you support again academia related to your field of study, but there's still a limit of 20 hours. So maybe it might be a possibility after you're doing your master's, just for a short period, but don't stick with that because it's limited to part-time only and you need to cover your costs. So, are there any questions on this so far? Okay, so then we go further. As I said, it depends on your qualification, also on the qualification, the jobs needing. How is it with the salary? So those mini jobs or low qualified jobs like pizza driver and so on, you will just get the Mindestlohn. So in Germany, we have a minimum wage, which is raising year per year. That's minimum you need to get gross per hour. So it's 13.90 € at the moment, but again, the better and higher your qualifications, the higher the salary usually. And you can also check, I link everything here to the official information. Student assistant at KIT. So when you are during your bachelor's and you have no experience, you can earn, you're starting at 15.20 €. So you see already there's a small difference between the minimum wage, it's above. And then if you have a master, you will get more. Student assistant industry, it's also a bit higher, it depends on the company, than KIT. Usually they are fixed salaries, but I don't know them in detail, but usually they are a bit higher. I don't know how much, but a bit higher. But at the end, everything is higher than mini jobs. And if you want to do an internship, there are special rules there. So if you're doing it more than 3 months, minimum wage from day one. But if you do a mandatory internship, which you don't do in computer science, you don't get minimum wage. And if you do an internship less than 3 months, you won't also get a salary or no minimum wage. But most companies still pay you as well, but check it out before you sign a contract. On average, there's 1,000 € gross per month. I have a lot of links here. So because that's something that is really interesting for you when you enter the German job market after your studies, you can check those different websites for salaries and everything is linked. So I have a lot of websites there. And another thing, for example, at KIT as well, there is called collective agreement. So watching job offers for mostly public sector. If there's written something like salary according to collective agreement, Tarifvertrag, that's a German word, based on TVED, IG Metall, whatever, and just go to the exact TVED, because you see here I have TVED, but we have also TVED-L. So Google this one, and it's quite, you will find it directly what salary you get. So I have also linked the TVL salaries. So if you want to work at KIT after your studies, you will see all the salaries there. And you will also see the salaries in the job offer especially. So they said, okay, this position is paid with TVL and whatever number. So, but there will be also some reductions. I don't want to go into detail with that, but you need to know the 13.90 € or 15.20 € or whatever you get is not what you get at the end. So there are some reductions. Usually, as long as you're an enrolled student, you don't pay the full social security deductions, but be in mind so that there are some reductions. And especially if you are entering the German job market, there will be more reductions. So, but there's also a link for you to have a look on it. And now, as I said in the beginning, the job market changed within the last years in the computer science. It's still good. It's still good. I don't want to to make you afraid, but maybe you need to look, I don't know, maybe a few months for the specific job you want to, or to the other ways to find a job. So it's still good, but you need to try harder for getting a job mostly. Do you want to? No, okay. Especially junior positions in software development are harder to find due to AI. I talked basically to a lady from the Cyber Forum. I will also get to that in 1 minute. And she said, okay, yeah, she confirms that it's harder nowadays to find entry jobs in the software development because the companies, they think AI can do this, but AI can't and can't do it alone. And there's still a person needed. And on the other side, if there are no junior positions at the moment, there won't be senior positions in 5 years because who should do these positions? But administration jobs are still available. So computer science field, like Netzwerkadministratoren, it's called in Germany. And again, so a degree is not a guarantee right now. It was really, really different a few years ago. So where you just worked through the KIT career fair that we have yearly, and you said, I'm a computer science student, and all the companies were around and said, oh, work with us, work with us, work with us. Nowadays, it's harder to do, to find jobs. So that's why additional practical experience counts more than ever or than before. Not more than ever, but than before. So, and also some students are asking quite frequently, what kind of jobs and branches better? Well, that one that suits your future career goals and your available time best. So don't work 20 hours if you don't have 20 hours available because your studies will stuck with that. But also don't work as a pizza driver if you want to do, for example, data science later on. So see for jobs in data science. If you want to go afterwards to academia, also choose your jobs wisely. Go for academia jobs, for heavy jobs, other scientific areas. But it might be also, even if you don't want to go in academia, it might be also a good stepping stone to start with academia, with student assistant jobs, because quite often they're in English here at KIT, so the KIT is quite international. Yeah, so it can be a good stepping stone for a first job. And also some students asking, is it better to do an internship or a student assistant industry? What's better around? So there's not a general advice on that. It really depends. If you do an internship, for example, in your 3rd bachelor semesters, no one will recognize you when you're finishing your master in this company anymore. So, but you can usually stay longer as a student assistant for 1 or 2 years even. And then when you're about to finalize your degree, you can say, hi, I'm looking for an entry job, and the company knows you, you know the company. So it might be a good advice in that stage. If you're about to end your study, you can do an internship, but in computer science, you need usually to take a semester off because you don't have the time. It's not mandatory internship. You need to take a semester off, but maybe you are still at the right place. Maybe you can go with this company for your final thesis and then still job entry. So that's not a general advice.
If you choose to take a semester off to do a practicum, you should consider applying for what's called Beurlaubung, or a vacation semester that goes through our Central Student Services Office, SLA. All that information is on their website, and under the FAQs for the Faculty for Informatics, there's additional information and links there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually it's written in all the offers, so you need to be enrolled student. Yeah, usually that's the case. Mm-hmm.
Here I'd say, if you're an international student, you need to maintain your student status.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're suggesting enrolled, you can be enrolled and have a vacation semester or a beurlaub semester. So you're still maintaining your student status while doing the practicum or practicum.
Mm-hmm.
There's more questions.
Yeah.
I heard that in the last semester when you are doing your thesis, there is something called the practical thesis with a company, or you are doing your thesis with the company project. So if you have any idea, can you enlighten us?
Okay, so the question for the folks who are online, so that you are coming along with us, there was a question of, if I'm doing my thesis, and I want to do an extern thesis and a practical thesis, is it possible? Is that
Yes.
a correct summary of your question?
Yes.
Okay. It is possible, but again, I'm going to go back to, please look at our FAQ for the Faculty for Informatics about thesis work and intern and extern. Make sure you find someone here at KIT who's going to be willing to allow you to do that extern work before you sign any contracts, okay, and get started. That's really important to read that information, all right?
But is it happening? I mean, there are precedents about it.
There are students who do extern work, but again, need to be informed, check it out, find out that information before the semester you want to start on your extern work. I'm just going to bring your attention to, in May, we had a workshop, How to Thesis. Those slides are also on our event archive site. I would strongly recommend that you review those slides as well for additional information. There were some other folks who had their hands.
Sounds good. That's to do internship.
Yeah, so the question for those folks online was, which semester is the best for doing an internship? So it really depends on your plan. So there are different aspects. The more you know, the later you do it in your studies, the more you know for the companies, the more competencies you have. As I said, so some companies, they want you to do an internship before you're doing a final thesis there. And for that, I would go for the not very last semester, but to the end from that perspective. And the other way around is also that when you are doing your internship, for example, now this year in this summer, and you're finishing in March, you can still hold the contact with the company and afterwards saying, okay, so now I'm finished with my studies. I want to work with us, with you. Are there any availabilities? And you can also talk about this directly in your job interview for your internship. You can say to them, okay, so now I'm in my third master semester, for example, so I have only one to go. And I will be finished by April or March or whatever. So, and I do this internship also to find a job afterwards. So it might be also a good idea. So my advice from the career service is to do it as late as possible, but still align it with your studies and see what your plans are for studies. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, honey. Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that you can get the internship without a solid experience, like experience?
Yeah, just try it. Try. Yeah. Sorry. The question was if you can get the internship without any prior experience, right? So just give it a try because you need to start somewhere. That's why the internships are there for, to learn, for students to get some practical experience. The companies, they know you're not an expert now, you're not graduated, but give it a try. Give it a try. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to build on that. And I'd like to build a little bit on that. One of the reasons we recommend that you do KIT jobs here at KIT is that you can build up some of the skills and soft skills that then would make you more attractive to job providers. One of the things that I would recommend is look at what jobs you're interested in doing. Look at what skills they're searching for, what's important, and then start looking for KIT jobs here at KIT that help you build those skill sets up.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I want to ask if it's possible to take a vacation semester,
Mhm.
the first semester of a master for computer scientist, or the
Mhm.
practicum.
So the
Mhm.
question is, can I get a vacation semester in my first semester's master? Are you a bachelor student presently?
Still, yeah,
Still, okay.
but next semester
But you're thinking of next semester. Are you international or German?
international.
Okay,
But I have German study program.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer this carefully because again, I would say you need to check about the immigration components that I'm not informed about. Perceivably, it would be possible to do so. I would probably recommend you following up with the center, so our Central Student Services
Mhm.
office, so
Mhm.
SLA.
Mhm.
And check with them regarding that because you submit to them your application for Beurlaubung or vacation
Mhm.
semester. Just to clarify that, they also have a lot of information on their website because I don't want to misadvise you.
Mhm.
I know for our students studying abroad
Mhm.
with Erasmus, it's possible in their first semester in masters to study abroad.
Mhm.
But I do not know what the case is for Beurlaubung. So again, I want to answer that carefully. I'd also go to the International Student Hub here at KIT and maybe ask some questions about the immigration components.
Mm.
They may or may not be able to answer them, but they can try, and they probably also have additional contact information for where you can clarify such questions. Other questions, or shall we move on?
Okay, but no, half an hour's passed, so I would say let's take 5 minutes break. Just everybody drink a lot, grab some water, and we will meet back at 20 past. So legal aspects for international students, everything is linked. So as I said, make sure that you know how many hours you're allowed to work in Germany. So let the employer know also about this, because the employer, they don't hire international students day for day. So that means sometimes they are not that informed about the legal aspects. So, but make it clear in your CV and also in your motivation letter. So I'm an international student. That means I am allowed to work in Germany for whatever. Where you can have this information from is your Aufenthaltserlaubnis, so your residence permit. And there's something, a section called Beiblatt, and everything is said how much you are allowed to work in Germany. So, but as I said, it's a really important information for the employers. Don't think, the employers, they know it. No, they don't know it in detail for each country. So make it visible in your application documents. There is something I want to point out. As I said, minimum wage is, the minimum wage here. But I know that there are some companies, especially in the mini jobs, maybe they think, okay, you're an international student, you don't know how it works here in Germany, so they want to pay maybe less or extend your working hours or whatever. Whatever problems you have, you can ask Mira mit Recht bei der Arbeit, so I'll link this as well, a consultation, especially on the legal aspects, for example, employment contracts, working hours, and so on. If you're adopting something, go for them. I will skip that because you will have the slides for download. But something important, language skills. I know German is a hard language to learn. I did it myself, but I was a child, I was 9, so it was pretty easier for me than for students who need to study and also to do to work on the German skills. However, the better your German skills are, the wider range of jobs you can apply for, the more flexible you are as well. And of course, there are still jobs available where you need only to talk English, but you will be forced somehow to stay at this company. So if you don't proceed on your German skills, so that's why I really recommend you from semester 1, if you know you want to stay in Germany afterwards, and most of the students raise their hands when I ask this, go and work on your German skills. There are different ways. I linked them as well. And most of the companies, they ask you as also in computer science for B2 or C1 level in Germany for entry-level jobs after graduation. You can give a try for B2, for student assistant jobs in Germany. But, well, the application, for applications, the rule is that if the advertisement is in English, you should apply in English. And if the advertisement is in German, apply in German and confirm that you can stand the interview in German. And if not, apply in English, but still say, okay, you are in the process to learn German. So they have you an addition.
Just a quick question for folks online and in the lecture hall. How many people are doing the Masters of Computer Science in English? Okay,
great.
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 One of the things I just want to mention, you can get soft skill qualifications in your academic results that counts for the completion towards your degree, and you can take German courses. Please consider doing that. It will help you.
And for
There's another
Oh.
question.
Do you know it? Do they do? Because I know it's different from department.
Okay. So the question is, does KIT provide Arbeitszeugnis or a work confirmation certificate for students who've done Hiwi jobs? Yes. You've been a tutor, a Hiwi, etc. You can ask for an Arbeitszeugnis.
Yeah. And before you leave, so
Better.
not just 1 year afterwards, because Christine said, so maybe the supervisor is gone already in this time. Just before you leave, ask directly. Yeah, that's everything I said. So you can also gain language skills, but also professional skills, not only through student jobs, but also through Hochschulgruppen, clubs, they call Vereine in Germany. There's a list of groups at KIT where you can also take contribution to and talk in German, talk in English to the people. And it's also good for your skill set as well. Ways to improve language skills. Everything is linked here. So we have 2 ways, like a buddy program at KIT. We have also language tandem at Studierendenwerk. There are some more, or a lot more ways. There are different ways. Either you visit a course or either you talk just like everyday talk in, for example, with the buddy program. And a few of you said, or most of you said, that you are studying in German in your computer science master. So if you do so, write this also in your CV and also in your motivation letter. So write, okay, I am studying in German, because by that they will know, okay, you are able to talk and to write. And also, you know, everything in the computer science in German. So, well, it's really a valuable skill.
And I'm just going to say, maybe you can repeat this for the folks online, is don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just plow through the German. Just do it. So my rule is when I leave my house door and I make myself speak German. So for the folks online, also take every effort to speak German. My policy for myself is when I leave home, I'm supposed to speak German, even if I make a mistake. I have nice people who let me know, and I don't mind that. Have a bit of sense of humor about it. You're going to embarrass yourself, but it's okay. Because at the end of the day, it's the only way to progress. And a lot of my German I've learned by talking with folks in both informal and formal situations. So just take that. And I learned as an adult.
Older. So language skills Oh, so language certifications. If you're holding a language certificate at the level in your CV and add it to application. If you're not holding a language certificate because sorry.
There's another question online.
Okay, so I will just finish that. If you don't hold a certificate, but you're good in everyday talk, as Christine said, don't wait for a certificate. So don't think, okay, you need to have a certificate, otherwise you can't make the employer believe. Just do like a self-assessment. There's also a link with different levels. Do a self-assessment, and if it's important to speak German, the interview will be probably in German, or just a part of the job interview will be in German, or a test or whatever. But don't be afraid if you don't hold a certificate yet, but you're still good in German. Do a self-assessment and do add it to your application. So there was a question online.
So the participant is asking,
While applying for jobs and getting positive-ish answers from a company, should I still keep on applying for further jobs or wait to see where my communication with the company goes? And the context is the participant has a friend who kept getting stalled by companies for months and without getting anywhere and then got rich.
Yeah. So do it. Sorry. Okay, they don't hear it. Okay, so I think the question was if it's a good idea to apply to different companies in once, right? So do it because you never know. So don't go for one company and another company and wait for any reply and so on. Don't do it. So apply for, I don't know, 5 jobs in a glance. So at one stage and see how it goes on. Yeah.
And I guess building on that is until you signed a contract, you don't have a job.
Yeah.
So keep pursuing opportunities until you have something that's hard and that I've got something.
Yeah, definitely. So application standards in Germany, general aspects, apply at least 3 to 4 months before you want to start working, but be in mind that summer is here now. So most of employees, they won't be here in the companies in August and also by mid of September because summer holidays are taking on this month. So that means that you will see less jobs in that period. So if you want to apply, start now. So don't wait until August or September. What do you need to apply in Germany? Usually a cover letter or motivational letter. You need it mostly, but read the job offer if you need one, because it's usually said apply with and whatever. So, but what you need always is to have a CV and certificates. We talked earlier about this. So Arbeitszeugnisse, for example, or any certificates that you're holding. So Germans love certificates. CV. So we have a full list of tips which are linked on our own homepage, but what you need to have is a clear layout and structure, consistent formatting, separation sections with informative headings, reverse chronological order, description of tasks and responsibilities using keywords. So keywords are really important nowadays. See the job offer carefully. So read what skills they are asking you for and what are your tasks, and then see, okay, what do I bring with me? So, and also be an expert in your field, not saying, okay, I'm just a computer science student, I can do everything. So be an expert for this specific job. So when you're applying for software development, for example, for jobs, state clearly why you're an expert in software development, not because you're a computer science student, because you visited some specific courses, you do some projects, for example. So be an expert for each job you apply. And also make it visible in your CV. You're allowed to do or to use 1 or 2 pages, but 2 pages are totally fine. I know there are also some templates on Canva, for example, they are limited to 1 page, but usually it's squeezed up. So everything is just in 1 page, and that's confusing. And by that, you won't have the place to put every qualification you bring with you. So photo, if you use one, take a professional one, not a photo for a visa, for example, or a selfie, take a professional one. You can do it by your own, with a good camera, with filters and so on, but you're allowed to smile. I see a lot of international students who take a visa photo and they're looking quite sad. So you're allowed to smile in Germany, but it's not necessary. It's optional to put a photo in. So, and a few special things for computer science. What you should add in your CV. Add GitHub if you want to. And if you have GitHub, you can also add LinkedIn account if you have one, if you have a good one. So if your LinkedIn account is quite empty, don't do it. State also like internal internships that you maybe did as a practical experience. Focus also on your technical skills and also rate your technical skills. You will see mostly they are asking you, like, for example, for good Python knowledge. And if you have good Python knowledge, don't write only Python, but write good Python knowledge. So by that, you will have a better matching between the job offer and your CV. You can also add some projects that you made, either private projects or in your studies. And as I said, have a clear profile, who you are, not a general computer science student, but an expert for, or a racing expert for, or whatever. So be quite precise on this. Another thing that came up recently is the ATS. It's called Applicant Tracking System. I think a few of you maybe heard of it. So I think the KIT doesn't apply it, but maybe some companies, especially the bigger ones. So one core component of this applicant tracking system, so it's basically just a software, right, is a CV parser. So that's a software that automatically analyzes and extracts information from your CV. So what happens if you submit an application, and yeah, what are the steps? So the first one is parsing. So ATS reads your document and extracts structured data like name, contact details, job titles, and so on. Another one is keyword matching. So your extracted content is compared against the job posting. So the ATS looks for exact terms or close variants of it, for example, project management, Python, and so on. So add those, as I said before, several times before, align your applications each time to the specific job offers to get this matching. And, you know, so some people are asking, okay, what do we need to do exactly for the ATS tracking system or for this parsing? There's not a big difference between human and also those softwares, because recently you need to convince the human, you need to convince the recruiter to why are you qualified. And again, it was like always that you need to make it clear through your project and so on. And nowadays, some machines do this. Oh, sorry. Okay, it goes. Well, okay, so the next thing happens is scoring or ranking. And another one is filtering applications below the score. Their sort are automatically rejected, but in Germany, it's not allowed to automatically reject people. So at the end, there is still some recruiter to need to confirm that you got rejected. So, and only top ranked applications land on the recruiter's desk afterwards. So, but as I said, the thing, it was the same previously as well. So you needed to convince the recruiter, now you need to convince the machine. So, but how do you do this is the same. I don't want to go into detail how to do an ATS-friendly CV because everything is written here. We talked about the relevant keywords, for example, avoid special character separation, no tables or graphics, but you can use some ATS scanner online to see whether your CV is readable for those ATS scanner. So what we have on our homepage, yeah.
So the ATS is actually around about 40 to 50% now for CVs are getting checked to the automation system. Okay.
Yeah, it's not through the automation system, but they help recruiters to build a score.
The CV templates we have on this one and
Yeah.
the one we have on KIT sites,
Mhm.
are they ATS friendly? First question.
Yeah.
Second
Yeah.
question is that these are tables, mean you one table on left and one table on right.
Yeah.
And when you put this and you ask the machine if this is ATS friendly, so my person usually get the response that no, it's 50-50, but it's not totally ATS. So do we have any template online on our website?
Yeah. You can use this one, but convert it to PDF. You can use this one, but without tables, as you said. So tables are hard to read. Yeah.
If it is converted to PDF, then
Yeah. Then it should be okay. But check this with the scanner as well. Yeah. Yeah. But it really depends. I know what you mean. It really depends on the specific scanner you use, because some say 50 or some say 70, but they give you also advices what you can do better. But it's hard to say, like, to have an overall tip for you, because it really depends what the company uses, and we don't know it before what kind of software the company use. Yeah.
So there is no
Not as
template
yeah.
that would replace that
Yeah.
ATS.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Okay. That was the question.
I have a project compared to work experience. So if I have a country, should I do a private project or should I look for an internship? And I mean, if you know the direction you want to go in, then I think an internship would be more useful. But if there's still a lot of uncertainty, then I think a difficult project would give you more of an advantage, because then I can go. I have coding skills, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. The question is basically if it's better to do a private project or a university project, which is more difficult, or to do an internship. Is it your question?
Yeah, I guess if you do an internship, you can talk about your work.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, you can outline, talk about what the company does privately, but if you do a private project, you can link GitHub and say, hey, I solved like a big problem.
Yeah.
And here you mean your own private project, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Private one. Okay.
It's not
Not
at the university.
Okay.
As a personal project.
Yeah. And
I think you could also just contribute on open source project.
Yeah.
So,
At the end, if you're working with a company, you have a connection to the company. So that's the difference between your projects or any other resources. But at the end, also your skill set counts. So, and there's not really an advice what's better or not. As Christine said, so focus on your skill set, focus on what do you learn there? What did you learn on previous project? And place that on your CV, link everything, give them an example, describe your project also using keywords and so on. At the end, it also counts as an experience. And sometimes it even shows you do an extra mile because you spend your private time to do this. You don't get money out of it. Yeah, so there's not a general advice, but I would focus on that as well. It's not one thing is better than the other one.
okay, so private projects are really helpful.
Yeah, they might. Can
show that you've done something good.
Yeah. And add them. So the most important thing is to add them in your CV. So link whatever you can, and also list the skills you get from that and everything that is need to be said.
Just add my GitHub or talk about the project in the, like, not detail company, but say like, hey, look at this project, especially.
Yeah, both. Because if you just link GitHub, what happens with this CV parser is like, okay, GitHub, there's one person who needs to look at GitHub. If you link the keywords that are relevant from your GitHub project, what you're doing there, what you learn there, what did you use there, and so on, it's even better for the CV parser.
Can you sell then the skill if it's your own project,
Mhm.
that you're self-motivated,
Yeah.
self-directed, sort of those skill sets of being curious and creative and being forward thinking and pushing.
Yep. Yep.
Two questions online. First was, the first was asking, does it make sense to do an internship after finishing the degree and still having student status?
Yeah.
To gain some work experience
Yeah.
before applying for a job, or is it
Yeah.
smarter to just apply to regular?
Okay. The question is if it's better when you are at the end of your studies to do an internship or just go for job entry jobs. Again, not a general advice. I would do both, definitely. So I would try for the best job you can get, but if it doesn't work, go for the internship. And as I said, also mention in your cover letter that you want to work with this company afterwards, and also mention this in your job interview. And if they're saying, okay, nowadays we have only internships, we don't hire people for the next 2 years or something, you know, by that, that's not the right company you should focus on. By that, you should go for another company, because if it's your plan, doing an internship for entering this company afterwards, and they say definitely no, it's not possible nowadays or for the next 2 years, I would go for another company. But my general advice is not sticking to internships, because at the end of your studies, you're really qualified employees. So don't see it as a job entry to start with an internship. Go directly with a job entry. If it doesn't work out, go for internships and try, but choose the right company.
Yeah, a quick question versus salary level and skills. If I apply for multiple jobs and I get an offer for a job where I get more money, maybe it's closer to home, but the other job I'm going to get less money, but it goes in the direction of what I want to do, what should I do?
Oh, tricky question. So I would say what your heart feels, really. Because of course money is nice, but it's not everything. So it might be, you might be stuck in this job at the end. So maybe, I mean, where you're passionate at, the more you have a passion for a specific job, the better you do it usually. So of course money can do a lot of good things for you. But I would go maybe for the one your heart feels and where you have the passion.
Another question has to emphasize that we should be collaborative and confident in terms of our skills. Is it better to stick very close to reality and only mention skills that we can objectively prove? Or is it better to be hyper confident and hyper ambitious?
Okay, maybe a mix of this. So because if you're raising some expectations, if you're saying, okay, I'm an expert in everything, so and you will meet each other in a job interview, they will check it, right? So, but don't underestimate your skills. Be honest and maybe put a bit more confidence in them, but don't hide yourself. Be confident. So that's why I can see. I'll say, yeah.
Repeat the question.
Sorry. The question. Sorry. Could you repeat the question?
If it's better to stay close to the skills or be hyper ambitious.
Yeah. Okay. The question was if it's better to stay to your skills or be ambitious and applications. Yeah. And as I said, be honest, but don't hide yourself. Know what your skills are. Take some days, maybe not even minutes, to think about what did you learn in university, what projects did you do, what other experience do you have? They're an expert at. As I said, not computer science anymore, not a generalist, where are you an expert at? And by that, you will gain confidence. You will see, okay, really, so I didn't know I have that much done before. I have such a good skill set. And that's why the better you know yourself, the better you can convince also the employers and job interviews.
I just want to repeat one component that my colleague mentioned, which is don't undersell yourself. That's really important. But if you say you can do it, make sure you know how to do it, because if you get into a job interview or it's clear that you don't, they're not going to trust you. And trust is an important thing when applying for a job, and it's going to increase the likelihood that everything that you say, that they trust what you're saying. And so I think that's really important, just to be aware and think about that.
And just another thing is, I want to mention, if you see job offers, there are 5 tasks for job entry jobs, and you can do 3 of those tasks. Still apply, but don't say, okay, I can also do the other 2 tasks. That's what Christine said, because trust is gone with that. But say, okay, I'm not an expert. I'm an expert on those 3 tasks, right? But I will learn the other 2 quickly as I can. I'm motivated to know these things. I'm motivated to do this task. I'm motivated to skill up myself. I demonstrated earlier that I'm really good because, as you said before, I had a private project running. I demonstrated I'm really motivated to go deeper into things or something like that. Yeah.
And I think, again, one of the things is the education you get here at KIT. Some of the skill sets that you're learning here is the theory, the knowledge, etc. One of the selling points is to say, hey, KIT, I get this really strong foundation of knowledge and abilities, which will help me learn these skill sets faster and efficiently.
Yep.
And that my education brings a lot to that. And then also maybe if there's skill sets they haven't mentioned, but are typical for that job, and you have them, say, hey, I mean, I don't have these skill sets, but I happen to have these skill sets which will help me with this position.
Okay, so if there is external company student work job like on the TV portal or some say, let's say or etc. There's a job thing and it's specifically stated student work job. So if we apply with the CV, which and we already have an experience of 2 or 3 or 4 years previous before our studies. So is it a positive sign to put that experience in the CV, or it will play a negative impact because the job standing said that student work?
No. Yeah, okay, I know what you mean. So the question is, if you're applying for student jobs and you had previously experience in full-time jobs because you did your bachelor's in your home country, worked afterwards, and then moved to Germany to doing the master's, because I know international students do this a lot. It's really valuable. It's really valuable. Put this in your CV. Yeah, because you demonstrate that you're able to work, but also be quite clearly, what do you bring with you out of those jobs? How did you contribute, as I said? What did you achieve? Also describe the companies, because German employers, they don't know that many companies in India or whatever. So describe, okay, for example, whatever fantasy name, a leading company in whatever, for example, in India or in China or whatever it is. So explain where you worked and explain also your role specifically. So what did you do and what your role, what your job title was as well. But it's really valuable and it's really important.
It won't play a negative impact
No,
because you are applying for a student job.
No, because you're a student and you only can apply for student jobs. So there's no reason. Yeah.
Hey, if you're bringing skill sets in, that's a bonus.
It is, definitely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Don't forget that. You're bringing in a bonus. They don't have to train you about something because you already do that. There may be a higher efficiency that may make you even more attractive.
Is that a good thing if we are applying in the second or third semester for the internships, and what we say to the company, we are doing the basic things first, we don't have a knowledge about specialization, what we are going to start. So what we can say to the company, what we are looking for, and what we can show in our CV.
Yeah.
And is that good?
Yeah. So the question is, if you don't have some qualifications that a company needs for the internship, right? how to do. Again, add keywords as well. And you can also add keywords by saying, I am motivated to learn things. I have a knowledge base from my studies. In theory, I want to apply them now in your company, but add the keywords, even if you're saying you're planning to do this, but you need to start somewhere. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask a quick clarifying question. Are you saying, should I work in my first semester of master's or second semester of master's? Okay, so is it a good idea to starting in my second semester in an internship, or should I wait until the end of my studies? So I come from the faculty. First things first, you need to make sure you're doing well academically. For many of our international students, you also have to pay tuition, which is not a small amount of money. And so when you're taking a job, take into consideration, is the money and experience that I'm earning benefiting me versus the cost if I have to study longer, or in case, hopefully this won't happen, I don't pass an exam, etc., and then have to retake that exam. What is the cost benefit? I just ask you all to do that, because it's really easy when you have a job. It's very concrete. Studies tend to be a little bit more abstract. It's easier then to invest a little bit more time in the job versus your studies. And it's just finding your right balance, finding your rhythm. Definitely go for jobs. I'm not saying that, but make sure that you have the strength so that you can carry on and be successful as a student, because that degree is going to get you further jobs.
Yeah. So as I said, yeah, okay. Let me finish that part and then we'll get to you. We have templates in Word, which you should convert to PDF. I don't want to go that into detail now because we are running out of time. But as I said, practical experience. Add this one, I mean, for Siemens and Karlsruhe, it's totally clear, but also state working student in whatever department, whatever field, and so on. Add as many keywords as possible. And for example, internal research and development at Bosch. So Bosch, it's not needed to explain Bosch, even if you work for Bosch in India. But if it's a company nobody knows in Germany, explain what a company stands for. And yeah, as I said before, add your technical skills, your software skills, rank them also not by the level you know them, but if there's in the job ads said you need to be an expert, or you need to have basic skills or whatever, in Python, place Python first. If they need you another thing, another skill, place the other one first. And another thing is about languages as well. Don't place your mother tongue first. Don't go with the language you can speak the best first, but the one that is needed for the job offer. So if it's German, place German first, or English, place English first, and the latest should be your mother tongue.
And there, regarding language, it's better if you can to put C1, B2, A2, etc., where it's a rating, because that's easier to evaluate than, oh, I have conversational English, or I can write good English, etc. Because that gives the person who's evaluating your CV greater and better and more concrete information.
Okay, so there was a question before, yeah.
Yeah, maybe a direct question relating to the language part. If you state that you have C1, for example, should you also like put the certificate that you have directly there, or is it okay to just state the level?
Okay, so for those online, the question is if you have a certificate of a specific level of German, should you add it? Or just quote that you have that in your CV. As I said before, if you don't have a certificate, don't wait to get this certificate ever. Add like a self-assessment. What do you think? how good you are, but I have also a link. But if you have a certificate, please add it. Please add it. And if you have a certificate, for example, for B2, but you're at C1 level right now, also provide C1. So not sticking to the latest certificate you have if you got better meanwhile. Cover letter. So let's cover that one quickly. I really want you to encourage to take some time and write an individual cover letter to each position. Some people or some students are asking, is anyone reading those cover letters? Well, you never know how much time the recruiter has at the moment, and you never know how the recruiter does the recruiting process, or if it's a passing tool or an AI or something reading your documents. So let the company decide whether they want to read it or not. But don't think, okay, I don't put that much effort because I know no one is reading this. They do. And sometimes it's even, yeah, it's even better if you have a really good, or usually it's better if you have a really good motivation letter. And why is it important? You have your CV, that's your core document. Usually the recruiters, they look at your CV first. They see, okay, who are you? What do you study? What did you do previously? And so on. But those are just hard facts, and they are related to the past, not to now, not to your motivation, not to your future. That's something what you can or should also add to your motivation letter. You can cover the things. What did you learn so far? Where are you an expert? Because only you're studying computer science, it's not said specifically where your passion is in this specific field. Where do you want to contribute to, or what do you want to contribute to? How does this job, so the one you're applying to, help you in a professional way? So as I said, for example, for internship, you can write or should write that this internship helps you to do this. And also you want to go with this company after your studies. And also, why do you want to work for this company and so on? So, and nowadays it's so easy to do a cover letter using AI. But the thing is, AI doesn't know you in person. And AI does really write really good cover letters at a first glance. But if you go deeper, you will see, okay, just generic said something about you. Everyone has the same cover letter. It's not a personal one anymore. So that means the more you give some effort on it, the better you do it personal way, the better for you, because it's outstanding nowadays if you receive 10 applications and the recruiters say know how AI language looks like, and they read 9 applications just made in 1 second through AI, and one which is really personal from you. It's really good for you if you have a personal one.
And I read a lot of job applications. I can say you start seeing the same sentences there.
Yeah.
And you get bored. It's less interesting.
And you don't know which person to choose, right? So because everything is generated with AI and you don't know. And at the end, I think it's still best because people like to communicate with people, and it's still better for you.
Maybe the point is what makes me unique, and that you have to bring out
definitely
in your
yeah, definitely. And that's what we talked all the session today. So take maybe a few days to have you known what you did before, where you're passionate, what's the motivation, and so on. Assess yourself, and then go further and then apply. Let me just, before we move on with the questions, I will just finish the presentation. I need to skip some things, but you can download the files. Just one thing I want to say about the cover letter. You can structure because each job offer is at the very same way. So there's always something said about what qualifications do you need to bring with you. There's always said something about what your job tasks are, and something about the company or the department or the project you will work on. So, and you can structure this cover letter also using this job offer. So in the first paragraph, you are saying, so the message is, I fulfill the requirements, I bring the qualifications that you need with me. The second paragraph is, I can do the task, or I have an idea how to do this. What I said earlier is, if you can do the task immediately right now, state that you're motivated to do them. And again, the third paragraph, why I'm motivated for this company, for this project, for this job. So be specific there as well. Okay, I skipped that one. I skipped that one as well because we talked about documents, put everything you have, you mentioned in your CV. I skipped that one as well. Best online platforms, you can have them on the slides, but we have also an own job portal, so you reach out through the link. There are student jobs, there are jobs at KIT, so HEVI jobs. All the jobs should be there from the KIT, but I know they are not. So it's also a good idea, go to professors, for example, and ask them directly for HEVI jobs. You know, just reach out after a lecture and say, okay, I'm a student of I'm a specialist, and so explain a bit about yourself and say, I'm interested to work as a HEVI for you because I know you're working on that and that project. Do you have some time now that we can talk about this? Or do you have some time next week or something? So, but it's also a good idea to do this way. You can set up a student profile, and there are a lot of specific other platforms, also especially for computer science, added with links. So I skip them because you can see them online. Another thing, what's the hidden job market? Nowadays, it's also a good idea to enter the hidden job market because not each job is posted online. And in Germany, it's estimated that up to 60 or 70% of jobs are not listed online. And as I said, go to the professors, for example, go to events of other companies, and I will go to that in a second. You can also ask formal employers or formal interns to refer you, for example. Sometimes companies, they have a specific referral link. You can also use direct applications to companies, so speculative applications, even if there's not a specific job position posted right now, but go there and write them an application and say again about your skill set, why you're motivated and so on, and try, because it can be also a good idea and you can also get a job out of this. Use university connections, professors, research groups, and so on, career fairs, events, LinkedIn, informal conversations. So don't underestimate this hidden job market. Yeah, I skipped that one. We talked earlier about LinkedIn, which is also a really good way to find jobs, to find connections and so on, to find people who can help you with jobs. I don't want to go that deep into LinkedIn, but you can optimize your profile using ChatGPT or any other AI, because you can download your LinkedIn profile the way it is right now as a PDF, and then you can upload this. And again, it's only a template, which you get from ChatGPT, for example. Proof if it really fits to you. But what you can do is on ChatGPT, for example, saying, okay, I'm a student of computer science, whatever. My goal is to do an internship in the next months in Karlsruhe and close by. Give me a strategy. How should I update my profile and what should I post in the future? Give me a strategy how to reach this and who I should connect to, for example. And ChatGPT or any other AI is quite good in this. But again, prove everything that AI is suggesting you. Don't say, okay, there's a skills set up of, I don't know, 50 skills, and I'm not really sure if I can do all the 50 skills, but ChatGPT said it's a good idea. No, don't do this. Be
still honest, but it might be a good starting point to set up your LinkedIn profile. So, okay, skip this. But it's a good advice. Contact the Ausländerbehörde always in case you have questions, if you're not sure about details about your residence permit or whatever. And also, if you are finishing your study, you need to change your visa because you won't be a student anymore. You need to change your visa for a job-seeking visa and do this appointment at Ausländerbehörde in advance because they need several months, I think, to get you an appointment. So now we are about to finish. I offer you to check your individual CVs online in 2 weeks. It's on the 7th of July. Again, in the evening, you need to register for that, and you will get the Zoom link after registration. But so what I really want to point out is the career day, computer science, coming up next week. What you can expect there, we have also consultation hours. So as I said, I can check your CV in 2 weeks, but you also can come the next week because it's faster for you. The next week we will check I will be there and also a colleague of mine, we will be two there. We will check your CV also in this career day. There is, Christine, maybe you can say something about computer science student advisory service. At will? Yeah.
I guess the first things first, career day for informatics is the 30th of June.
I forgot. Yeah.
You'll find that on our main website for the department. Please check that out. We'd love to see you there. Again, this is a collaboration between the Department of Informatics and the Career Services here at KIT to provide you with opportunities to do that. And your second question was?
About the student advisor services, who's there? Because we had that yesterday in the Bauingenieurwesen, but I'm not sure if you have that.
Computers. So is this, okay, so computer science student advisory services regarding master's degrees and internships. The question is, who's doing that?
No, what service you can expect.
What service can you expect?
Okay.
So, do we know who the speaker is?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like Studienberatung.
Okay, so student career services, international career services, and advising from the department. That means that one of our colleagues, most likely Frau Gaeta, will talk about transitioning from bachelor's into the master's program of studies. I don't have the program, so I'm not going to promise anything here, but Frau Gaeta can give you a lot of really good tips if you are going to switch from complete your bachelor's degree here and you want to then start your master's. She can give you information to prepare and target that. Okay.
Okay, and it's not just the advisory services, but there's a job talk from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., which is really valuable for you. It's job talk related to cybersecurity. So companies like Aramido, Driva, and Codewerk will provide insights into project technologies and career opportunities. So you need to register there. And if you can follow the conversations in German, you can still ask your questions in English. So, but the job talks will be in German. And another important thing is the alumni insights in the evening. There are people, so the focus is not on specific jobs, not on specific branch, but it's like former students, alumni, they will get back to the university and they will give you maybe also some good tricks how they enter the job market, what has them helped before, what would they recommend you to do further, what other tips they have. And it's also a great way to connect to people, to go directly there, to ask them, okay, do you have jobs, what kind of jobs, and so on. But inform yourself also about the companies in advance. So don't ask the companies, what are you doing here? So, but ask specific questions. it brings it further. And after you send out your applications, hopefully your job interview will follow. And we have from the Career Service a focus on job interviews in July. So there are different trainings. Choose whatever you want, whatever fits to your goal. We have an information. The first one is more about information, how job interviews go generally in Germany. The second one is a training for 3 hours, and the last one is a training as well, but for job interviews online. And well, so you can stay in touch with us as well. And now I'm finished with the slides and I'm open to questions, but in case anyone wants to leave because we are finished right now, you can go.
Intended time?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to thank my colleague from Career Services for taking the time today to talk and share her expertise with the group, and for all of you for sticking with it on a very hot day and participating in our event. We will post all the information online. One of my colleagues will upload the slides for today's event by tomorrow morning. If that's true, yes? Good to go.
Thank you.
So have a nice night.
Thank you.